Stakeholders explore harmonizing access to information ahead of elections in 2026. National Communication Authority clarifies that Facebook TikTok shutdown was to protect mental health of young ones. Government announced resumption of operations for water bottling companies after consensus. Good afternoon and welcome to Ssbc News coming to you live from Juba. My name is Jacqueline Perino. We begin our broadcast from the Presidential Palace where Abyei Chief Administrator Dr. Chol Dengalak informed President Salva Kiir Mayardit that the people of Abyei are calling for his swift and decisive action to address the unresolved status of Abyei following the 2030 referendum results. This appeal aims to foster peace and stability in the region. As Leandro Lotok reports, NRA boss Simon Abyei updated President on efforts to enhance revenue collection and remittance to the Ministry of Finance.
In an effort to address ongoing concerns in the Abyei area, President Salva Kiir Mayardit has received an in-depth security report from the Chief Administrator, Dr. Chol Dengalak. The briefing held on Thursday centered on the security situation in the area alongside challenges faced by internally displaced persons. The Chief Administrator emphasized that the people of Abyei are counting on President Kiir to take swift and decisive action to resolve the issue of the Abyei area, underscoring the need for stability and a peaceful future for all residents of the area.
Have discussed the situation of the displaced and the refugees who have come into the area, are now expecting the process which will have to take place in the near future, of which His Excellency the President will how to design ways and means of how fast to deal with the issue of Abyei.
In a similar development, President Kiir received an update on the ongoing efforts to enhance revenue collection and remittances to the Ministry of Finance and Planning. The discussion highlighted significant progress made by NRA in implementing a new tax regime aimed at strengthening the nation's fiscal health. Among these provisions is the decision to ban all non-statutory exemptions, which have been a significant drain on the country's revenues. The President also emphasized the importance of harmonizing tax laws to create a fair and efficient tax system. Commissioner General of the National Revenue Authority, Simon Abyei, welcomed the President's backing and stated that with his support, the NRA would be well positioned to fulfill its mandate.
We came to brief him on the progress of the collection of revenues and the remittances to the Ministry of Finance and Planning. And the President has agreed to be able to support us on different fronts, issues to do with the implementations of the new Act. Second is banning all the non-statutory exemptions that actually are draining our revenues, among other very important points that we have discussed, including harmonizations of tax laws to be able to efficiently collect taxes. I appreciate the meeting and we will continue to do our best. Our commitment as citizens is to help our country from the situation of financial difficulties. And I promise we can do it.
As the NRA prepares to implement these vital reforms, the President's encouragement is expected to galvanize the workforce to deliver on their objectives with renewed vigor. Leandro Lotok, Ssbc News, Juba.
As the peace negotiations between the government and holdout groups continue in Nairobi, the negotiating parties have completed comparing their position papers, marking the beginning of the mediation process amid the growing optimism for a breakthrough in the near future. While the government has upheld the 8 protocols, opposition groups have raised concerns about the alignment of the Tumaini initiatives, citing flaws in the implementation of the 2018 Revitalize Agreement. Ssbc's Akuch Maker reports from Nairobi.
In a friendly atmosphere, the negotiating parties in Nairobi have turned their focus to addressing the core issues of the negotiations, particularly the alignment or independence of the Tumaini initiative. As emphasized by opposition groups, both sides presented their position papers, paving the way for the mediation process. Optimism is growing for an imminent peace deal as both parties demonstrate a willingness to compromise. The opposition has voiced concerns about the government allegedly breaching the 8 protocols,
which were the result of the sustained negotiation and compromise by the parties and stakeholders. The Artigono delegation came with the hardline position to delete all the 8 agreed protocols and for the opposition to be incorporated into the Artigono to implement the RRCs, which the signatories failed to implement.
However, the government has denied these allegations.
We were expecting the presentation of the opposition and the whole art groups to be a response to the presentation of the government yesterday, or to the framework that was given by the mediation to both of us in December. However, what we got today was a statement that was not really related to any of the 2 documents, either the document presentation of the government of the Republic of South Sudan or the mediation framework. What we got was justification on why the parties that are called non-signatories did not sign the agreement on the resolution of conflict in the Republic of South Sudan in 2018.
Ambassador Mohammed commended the parties for their positive start to the talks.
The 8 protocols which were negotiated last year, they have not brought anything outside the 8 protocols. So for mediation, this is already a big boost. It's a plus for us because what we have now, the parties are focusing on the 8 protocols, gives us a momentum to look at key points of differences.
While stakeholders representative highlighted the friendly environment, expressing hope that the Tumaini peace deal will be signed soon.
We are here for peace, and we believe this time around, with the grace of God, we have to have that peace. And the environment shows there is a bit of flexibility. People are free to interact. I don't deny the fact there is a gap, but we hope the gap will be bridged, and I also believe there will be compromise for the sake of the people of South Sudan.
Akuchimaker, Ssbc, Nairobi.
The SPLM first and second deputy chairpersons, Dr. James Wani-Iga and Daniel Awenakot, at the SPLM House on Thursday, listened to a briefing from the SPLM Secretary for Finance and Administration, Mary Abyei, on the activities of the party and the implementation of the resolutions of the recent meeting of SPLM Economic Task Force. In a statement to the media after the meeting, Mary Abyei reassured the commitment of the party in implementing the resolutions and policies to pave way for economic transformation of the country. The meeting was also attended by the SPLM National Secretariat members who welcomed the 2 senior party officials.
Deputy Daniel Awet called to discuss issues pertaining the implementation of the resolution of the Economic Recovery Task Force Consultative Committee meeting. In that meeting, he also seek ways of how the SPLM party can mobilize resources for the implementation of the party programs and the resolutions of the Economic Recovery Task Force.
Cairo has commended Juba for demonstrating diplomatic proficiency in addressing issues threatening regional peace and security, including the killings of armed South Sudanese by the Sudanese Armed Force in Wat Medeni. These incidents sparked nationwide protests, which were effectively contained by organized forces as the situation returned to normal. Vice President Hussein Abdul Bagi Akol and Egyptian Ambassador Mu'tas Mustafa convened to discuss ways to deepen bilateral cooperation between South Sudan and Egypt. Following their meeting, both the Egyptian diplomat and the Vice President's Executive Director, Ayaga Garangdeng, briefed the media on the outcome of their discussions.
اللقاء كان مثمر للغاية. تناولنا فيه سبل دفع العلاقات الثنائية بين البلدين إلى الأمام ومزيد من التقدم والازدهار في العلاقات بين البلدين وسبل تطويرها. وشارك في اللقاء السيدة وزيرة الصحة، أيضا كانت لها مداخلتها القيمة في هذا اللقاء فيما يتعلق بالتعاون بين مصر وجنوب السودان في قطاع الصحة. تناولنا خلال اللقاء زي ما ذكرت سبل تفعيل العلاقات الثنائية بين البلدين وتطويرها، وكذلك استرشدنا برؤية السيد النائب فيما يتعلق بالأوضاع داخل جنوب السودان وتطورات مفاوضات توماني في كينيا ومضي قدما في تنفيذ استحقاقات السلام والتوصل إلى التنفيذ كامل لاتفاق السلام لتحقيق الرفاهية والتنمية لشعب جنوب السودان الشقيق.
In a continuous engagement that intends to continuously promote the relationship between Egypt and South Sudan. Egypt and South Sudan are two sisterly countries that continue to enjoy very good friendship and maybe alliance. He also expressed his concern on the recent situation that happened between Sudan and South Sudan with regard to Al-Madani massacre, and he assured His Excellency that he is also going to do his best through diplomatic means.
Let's go out for a short break and we shall be back. Welcome back. If you have just joined us, you're watching SSBC News live from Juba. The appointment of General Thoy Chang Red as Presidential Security Advisor, replacing Tut Galwak, now the country's special envoy to the Middle East, have been met with widespread praise and optimism for improved services and national security. Various communities gathered in Juba to welcome General Thoy as he officially assumes his role following his swearing in before President Salva Kiir Mayardit. Addressing the gathering, Mary Nyaulang Chang Red, a lawmaker representing Ayot County, urged her biological brother, General Thoy, to prioritize nationalism and diligence in fulfilling his responsibilities.
البوزيشن ده الليلة ما حقنا كأبناء أيوت، ما حقنا كفنجاق الكبرى، ما حقنا كنوير الأعمى، ده حق الجنوبيين كله، وده شيء بخص الأمن في الدولة بتاعنا. والأمن ما عشان الحكومة ولا الزول اللي خدته فيه، ده مسؤولية بتاع كل زول في الدولة، حتى اللي انت المواطن البسيط ان احنا ده عندنا مسؤولية فيه. وعشان الدولة بتاعنا يكون أمن بتاعه مستتر، كل زول يكون عنده مسؤولية يعرف انه.
The U.S. Ambassador Michael J. Adler paid a courtesy call on the presidential special envoy to the Middle East Affairs Tut Galwak Manime in Juba on Thursday. The officials discussed a number of issues affecting the Horn of Africa and Middle East regions, with much emphasis on peace. The U.S. Ambassador Michael J. Adler commended Tut Galwak for the efforts he exerted during his tenure while handling peace while by fostering political and social harmony among the political elites in the country. Tut Galwak is the presidential special envoy to the Middle East Affairs, tasked with handling political, economic, and social relations between South Sudan and more than 10 countries in the Middle East. The government of South Sudan and development partners are exploring ways of shifting the country from humanitarian dependency to development. Minister of Water Resources and Irrigation Paul Maideng and the Director for Humanitarian and Development at the British Embassy Ssbc discussed the initiative's modalities in Juba on Thursday. In a statement to the media, Minister Paul Maideng says the meeting focused on a wide range of issues, which among them includes agriculture, water supply, and the need for the ministry to create an enabling environment for investment. The Humanitarian and Development Director at the British Embassy Ssbc says the meeting also deliberated on issues connected to climate and floods, which are major challenges in the country.
We have discussed the priorities and challenges of the Ministry of Water Resources and Irrigation. We have discussed things to do with agriculture, water supply, hygiene and sanitation, and the need of the ministry to create an enabling environment for humanitarian investment. It was a very interesting discussion, and we have also agreed that we will continue the same conversations and try to bring others on board in case there is a need.
The minister set out his vision for his ministry and the priorities for 2025. These are areas that we are looking at as the UK and are keenly interested in. We covered and spoke about the many challenges that are being faced in South Sudan by the people, including the flooding, the climate shocks, the need for investment in agriculture. And all of these areas are of great interest to the UK and are areas that we will be.
The Minister of Federal Affairs and the South Sudan Constitution Working Group discussed the implementation of a federal system in the country. In a media briefing after the meeting, Under-Secretary of the Ministry of Federal Affairs, James Daniel Chwany, said the meeting covered a broad range of topics, including civic education initiatives. He reiterated the ministry's commitment to working closely with the youth group to ensure the public understands the federal system and its practical applications. The Secretary General of the South Sudan Constitutional Working Group, Xavier Tombe, stated that the group have been active since 2021, mandated to conduct civic education on Chapter 6 of the Revitalized Agreement on the Resolution of the Conflict in South Sudan. The group is focused on raising awareness among young people about their role in the civic education process.
We have discussed a lot of issues of concern about the type of federal system and about the dissemination in the ground and how the ministry can cooperate with the youth, because these youth are the people who are really doing the work on the ground, and we need to harmonize and work together so that we give the right information to the people on the ground, because they're conflicting misunderstanding from the general public.
This group has been in operation since 2021. We have been doing civic education on Chapter 6 of the R-Axis, which is a constitution-making process. When it was still a bill until it was enacted, the Constitution-Making Process Act 2023. And since then, we have been carrying out awareness to young people on how they should meaningfully and effectively prepare themselves to participate during the civic education and the public consultations that will be conducted by the RNCRC, such that the views can be taken into the constitutional text that will be drafted.
We are yet for another short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You are still watching SSBC News live from Juba. The chairperson of the Political Parties Council, James Akol Zakayo, discussed with the media communication strategy planning for general elections in 2026 to create good avenue of promoting issues of concern among stakeholders during the elections process. The committee is being co-chaired by the Managing Director of Media Authority, Elijah Kwai, and the Director General of the National Communication Authority, Engineer Napoleon Adogai, to ensure free, fair, and transparent general elections through robust media communication strategy. Reporter Mangar Chadar has more on the story.
The chairperson of the Political Parties Council, James Akol Zakayo, shed light on the composition of the joint committee, bringing together the co-chair, Elijah Alier Kwai, Managing Director of the National Media Authority, Napoleon Adongai, Director of the National Communication Authority, Mayiga Anduru Korkoto, Commissioner of Information Commission, a representative led by Francis Duku Abyei from the South Sudan Broadcasting Corporation, and John Madol, Director for Publication. Akol Zakayo emphasized the importance of communication in the electoral context, asserting accurate and timely information to the public is vital in facilitating understanding the electoral processing.
The outcome of the meeting that we had with the consultative group that has been established to design communication strategies for general election. And we have agreed on providing the valuable inputs and ensure that broad-based support and collaboration is agreed upon prior to the election. The rest of other inputs that we have agreed with Honorable Elijah and Honorable Napoleon shall be communicated between the two institutions. The meeting was fruitful, and this is the first meeting of its kind. We shall have series of such meetings until the strategy is developed.
Alier Kwai said the committee will work to guarantee all political parties and candidates have equal access to media platforms and to foster an environment where citizens can proactively and knowledgeably engage in the processing leading to the general elections 2026.
We are here as a team from the ministry. This team work is to ensure that we develop this strategy that will encompass a guideline that will guide the media, the politician, the civil society, and the general public on the conduct of general elections. And also it will involve the issues to do with the civic education. Come the election, the political parties will be able to have a lot of campaign left and right throughout the country. And in this situation, this is the concern for us as this committee, that this campaign are conducted in a conducive environment. And the messages that will be going to the public should meet the standard required by the Election Commission.
The Political Parties Council and the parastatal ministries underscore the importance of media equities, enhancing public broadcastings, and leverage technology for the countrywide communication. These institutions are laying down a foundation of conducting election transparent and inclusive manner. Mangar Shadar, Ssbc, Juba.
The Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mandesi Maya Kumba, and the FAO country representative, Mishek Malo, have underscored the crucial partnership between the Food and Agriculture Organization and the South Sudan government. The Deputy Minister reaffirmed the government appreciation to FAO's contribution in addressing food shortages and enhancing agricultural sector in the country. Malo expressed gratitude for the existing cooperation with all government-relevant institutions. Speaking to SSBC, the ministry's spokesperson, Apuka Yuel, stated that the meeting focused on the upcoming agricultural projects and the implementation of resolutions from the recent Comprehensive Africa Agricultural Development Summit held in Kampala, Uganda.
Their discussions covered several topics, including the upcoming agricultural projects, the implementation of the resolutions from the recent Comprehensive Africa Development Programs Summit that took place in Uganda, and the status of cooperation between the government and FAO. Both parties committed to maintaining close communication and coordination while exploring avenues for collaboration.
The National Communication Authority issued a statement regarding the temporary suspension of Facebook and TikTok following some wrong information being circulated by social media users about the torture and killings of South Sudanese nationals in the Sudanese city of Fort Medeni recently. Engineer Napoleon Adok Guy, the Director General of the National Communication Authority, said the decision was to protect mental health of young children, calling in public to remain calm while efforts are being worked out with the telecom sector and other services provider to avoid further escalation of the situation among various communities.
I was requested to make this statement to clarify the action we took yesterday, the National Communication Authority. We took the actions in compliance with Section 9G, which emphasized on us to guide the public's interest in regard to the Internet's activities. For the last 3 days, there have been a number of events that the country has witnessed leading to the protests that resulted in looting of public property and targeting nationals, certain nationals across the country. Those things have been contained, but we realized that the social media platform, some of the social media platforms were continuing to circulate inflammatory and content that we found contravening values and cultures of our country. And we are mandated by law to watch out for those things and take appropriate measures. These measures are combined with other technical efforts that are going on. We have consulted the platform operators. Our directive were to suspend the Facebook and TikTok features specifically, not the entire social media. We all understand social media is much broader than those two, but we target those two applications because they have a high volume of video sharing in our country for this sensitive period where our people are going through. Of course, this decision did not go very well with the number of the public. We have taken note of concern expressed by citizens and by stakeholders, including human rights groups, who also agree with us the measures to tackle how to deal with these videos that are circulating. As a result of these efforts, Meta platforms, they have been in contact with us and they have taken measures to blur out and also to remove some of those gruesome images that we were really concerned about. And as such, even though we have set the date for 30 days, it means that with this compliance, there is a possibility we can lift this, the ban of these two social media within the next 72 hours. It required that our intention was not to prevent South Sudanese from accessing information. Our intention is to create pressure for those making profit of the social media platform to also put effort into cleaning up the social media environment, because our children are accessing those images and we need to protect their mental health. And of course, some technical experts are also pushing to think that we have failed to block. Our intention was not to give you a blackout. Our intention is to target the major distributors of these two social media content, which is Facebook and TikTok, for which a certain cache servers are within our country. So these cache servers is the one, they were our target, and those who are operating them have effectively complied with this, and they are working with us collectively to find a solution. Our country, of course, does not have a centralized monitoring system. In fact, our internet is freer than the internet itself because it is coming from abroad. We don't have internet at home. Most of it is coming from outside. And as such, so there are people who are still accessing those platforms using the VPN tunnels, meaning that they are actually accessing them outside the country. We know that if you are responsible enough to install VPN and access those content, you will be responsible enough not to disseminate those gruesome videos. So you are not actually the target, and we are trying to deny the young people from accessing those videos. Now that we are cleaning, we are getting a good feedback from Meta and from TikTok. We are looking forward to resume.
The Ministry of Environment and Forestry has announced the resumption of operations for water bottling companies across the country. This follows a meeting between the ministry's leadership and factory managers resolving concerns over environmental fees. In a press conference earlier today, Under Secretary Joseph Africano Batel refuted claims of exorbitant fees, clarifying that the environmental fee for a 500 milliliter bottle is just 1 cent, while a kilogram of preform is 0.20 cents. The ministry also revealed plans to launch a bottle buyback project in early February as part of its effort to combat plastic pollution.
As you know, on the 20th of this month, the Association for South Sudan Manufacturers came up with a press release informing of the shutdown of water bottling factories' operations due to environmental fees levied by the Ministry of Environment. We deduced that in that press release, the figure or the amount that was quoted was wrong, because the environmental fee was 1 cent per bottle, and the 50 cents was per kilogram of preform that have been now reduced to 20 cents. This environmental fee is not revenue for the ministry, but it's for the project of buying back the plastic bottles. So we'll be working together with Plascom, the association, and the manufacturing factories to see to it that plastic pollution is controlled.
There was a stalemate from Monday 20th. The manufacturers bottling water shut down their factory because of this levy, which has been imposed by Ministry of Environment. We've had consultative meeting yesterday on the clarity of the levy which is being charged, And it has come out that the levy which is being charged is only 0.20 cents, which was very agreeable by all the manufacturers. And currently, as we are speaking, the stalemate is no longer there. Today, early morning, all the factories resumed their day-to-day operations. We'd like to notify the entire public that there is no stalemate ongoing. Water will be supplied to all the entire areas that we have in Juba. And our youths who are being considered.
That brings us to the end of our news for this afternoon. I'm Jacqueline Perino, wishing you all the best.